The rain has started to fall, and it is here where we're going to have to play it very smart. Guys, by the end of the next lap, the track was so slippery that you guys can't see. I'm struggling to keep the Ferrari in a straight line. And in these conditions, it's been a thing with the F1 games for a while now. In these changeable conditions, the AI are absolutely overpowered. But as soon as Turbo 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, we are back on the F1 2020 game, back in the career mode. Well, career mode. Yeah, okay, don't worry. I messed that up. Not the point. I hope everybody is doing fantastic. We are back in the Ferrari trying to secure this championship. And we're not very far to the championship. We are heading now towards Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And guys, even though I made a lot of mistakes in that first minute of the video, make sure to drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you 2 seconds. That'll show how much you like me. Guys, I think towards this episode, there's not really much to do beforehand. We don't really have enough R&D points to make an upgrade on the car, so we are just basically going to get straight towards Montreal. Once again, I think it's going to be a fierce fight between myself, my teammate Sebastian Vettel, and the two Mercedes of Hamilton and Bottas. So Canada always provides exceptional racing, so I think we are in for a cracker of a weekend, especially if the weather plays a part. Now guys, heading towards practice first of all. It was a little bit of a I want to say a calm practice. I think I made 1 or 2 tiny mistakes. I'll show you guys one of the mistakes now. But not much happened. And what I can tell you guys it definitely is that the two Mercedes and the two Ferraris are extremely close. You guys can see on the performance shot as well, Mercedes are still leading the way, but we are right behind them in Ferrari. Then Racing Point have shot away from Red Bull, but there's still a very close gap between Racing Point, Red Bull, and Renault. So keep an eye on those 3 teams this weekend for the rest of the points. Then you've got McLaren and AlphaTauri squabbling over P6 and P7, with AlphaTauri just eking ahead of McLaren at this stage. Alfa Romeo are still in P8 with Haas P9, and Williams are in P10. Now guys, like I said, this weekend we're going to have to fight with Mercedes a lot. This is a track that the Mercedes car always usually gels with. So I think we at Ferrari are a little bit on the back foot, but not too much. We've got the straight line speed. We just need to see if we can match the two Mercs. But I honestly think that Hamilton and Bottas are going to start mounting a big fight back for the rest of this championship. So you guys see it's a quick intro to the video. I mean, not really much happened. So without further ado, let's head straight to qualifying.
We've got a situation at the moment. Seems like something's off with the fuel injection system. We're looking into it, but we're going to be out of action for a few minutes.
Okay, that is not what we needed or wanted. But guys, this happens. So we've got a problem with the fuel injection system. It's going to cost us, well, what's that, 4 minutes of qualifying. And guys, well, honestly, I didn't want to like force 3 runs upon myself. So I made peace with the fact that I was just going to get 2 runs in quali, because to try and push now for 3 runs would just have been a lot of pressure on myself as well as on the team and the car. And I knew that the car had the pace to be in the top 5. So I didn't need 3 runs, but yeah, it was still going to be a big fight feel.
Engine fired, we're set.
Thank you, Jeff. And what I mean by that is, like I've said throughout the video, guys, between Ferrari and Mercedes, it's going to be really close this weekend. And as you guys can see, heading here towards the end of our one of only 2 runs in qualifying. Here we go. We come towards the line. We are dead last, but as we cross the line, we go P9. And by the end of quality, I was just like, no, that's not going to fly for me. So guys, let's go around this beautiful Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And through the first 2 quarters, a very tight second quarter with being a hairpin. Then we head into a right-left chicane. There is no shortage of chicanes here at Montreal. Into the left, into the right, into this next very tight chicane. This is probably the hardest corner on the track due to the AI being able to get their grip down so quickly. We go purple first sector, open up DRS for this first back straight. Now heading towards this next right-left chicane, much quicker than the previous one. Clip the curb on both insides of the corner, mount the curb on the outside, and now we head towards the famous hairpin where Robert Kubica had a massive crash back in 2007. Onto the anchors, you get the car turned in around the hairpin and get the power down as early as possible. And now we head down the back straight. And now we open up DRS now as we head down the back straight towards the final chicane, which we will go past the Wall of Champions. Wall of Champions, a lot of champions have crashed here. Down into 4th gear, mount the curb on both the sides, get as close to the Wall of Champions as possible, open up DRS, and we head towards the line, and it's going to be P!
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Hamilton, Bottas, and Sebastian Vettel. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
The top 4 are separated by less than 4/100ths of a second. Less than 0,040. Guys, the closeness between Ferrari and Mercedes is insane. We have got a massive race ahead of us. So without further ado, let's head straight to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
Bonjour! It's time once again to go racing here in Montreal, the second largest French-speaking city in the world, and home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average lap speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Parker, Daniel Kvyat and Ocon, Verstappen, Stroll, Gasly and Lando Norris, Perez, Sainz, Alexander Albon and Leclerc, Ricciardo. They've taken a grid penalty. Giovinazzi, George Russell and Kimi Raikkonen. Latifi and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
That is the idea, Jeff. Guys, if you haven't done it yet, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future amazing episode here on Timber Fox Racers. Guys, previous round in Baku, we did take the win after Mercedes messed up with Lewis Hamilton, and Lewis was littered with mistakes. We're going to have a much harder fight on our hands with both Mercedes as well as my teammate Vettel. I'm going to go risky for the 2-stop. You guys can see there is rain expected, so it's all to play for this GP. Jam with me on the warm-up lap. Oh yeah.
It's incredible. Only you could see. Unbelievable. You can feel, you can see. It's incredible. Only you could see. Unbelievable.
Canadian Grand Prix, as we are now going to head towards 5 red lights. Excuse that weird formation lap, guys, but there was just a lot of problems with the recording. 5 red lights, and it's go, go, go for the Canadian Grand Prix. Mercedes front row lockup for myself and Vettel. There was nothing between the four of us, but we go Linus third into the first quarter. Both Mercedes as well as Vettel and myself, but all had exactly the same launch, and it's literally Hamilton, Bottas, Vettel, myself, and then the AlphaTauri, I think Gasly and the Renault Ricciardo are battling right behind us, and even the racing point of Perez and Verstappen go side by side through that next quarter. Guys, one thing that I have to mention, on the formation lap, I overheated my tires accidentally, my rear tires. So for this first lap, I was struggling with a really weird rear end, and that was my own fault. There's nobody else to blame except myself. So my rear tires were at like 105, 106 degrees. I did a few burnouts too late in the warm-up lap, so I basically screwed myself. You guys can see I'm under pressure from the AlphaTauri and the Renault as we head into the hairpin. At literally this point, I realized, okay, the tires are back to normal temperatures. I can start pushing again. And now I had to chase off the Vettel, Bottas, and Hamilton ahead of me. But it's been a good, very laid back start from the entire grid, except that little squabble between Perez and Verstappen. But between the top four, it's just us four, and now we're going to have to fight it out for the rest of this Grand Prix. 35 laps of absolute nail-biting action is waiting for you guys. You guys can see all the cars going past the wall of champions. Everybody's surviving the first lap alongside that wall, and it's the two Williams boys bringing up the rear end of the field. We jump all the way onto lap 4. I think this is on board with Carlos Sainz, as he is going for a move on Max Verstappen, heading into the final chicane. Verstappen defends well from Sainz here, but now we head on to this next spot. Sainz does have the DRS. Oh, it's Norris. It's not Sainz. It's Norris, guys. And Norris goes up the inside of Max Verstappen. Guys, these two Red Bulls are just absolutely nowhere this second season. They were a lot more competitive in the first season of our career mode, but Verstappen and Albon are just nowhere to be found in the second season, which is actually a bit sad. You guys see now it's finally my turn to make a move on Sebastian Vettel. I think this is lap 6, guys, if I'm not mistaken. I really had to chase down Vettel. Vettel was really driving strongly. And as you guys see, as we head towards the end of lap 7, we are now diving into the pit lane to be the first car of the leading 4 to come into the pit lane. I want to try and go for the undercut, guys, especially that we know rain is on its way. I need to try and undercut both Mercedes to give myself a good opportunity to be in the driver's seat when the rain does eventually hit. And guys, like I said, you can almost never trust.
One more stop today, one stop left in our strategy.
Thank you, Jeff. You can almost never trust the weather forecast at the beginning of the race, because already Jeff has told me that the rain is going to be coming earlier than we suspect. So going on to a second set of softs was a no-brainer, so that I could push with everything I had. Here you guys can see, this is actually a replay of that move you guys just saw as I exited the pit lane. This is Kevin Magnussen behind the two Alfa Romeos of Raikkonen and Giovinazzi. And as I come out of the pit lane, I just get an absolutely awesome drive out of the pit lane, and I just dive it up the inside of K-Mag in the the middle Ferrari team. With the Ferrari engine being nerfed so badly, guys, basically Alfa Romeo and Haas are the two junior Ferrari teams. None of these cars were like midfield contenders, and that's a little bit sad. So we are basically flying the flag alone for the Ferrari powered cars. We now go up the inside of Kimi Raikkonen into the second sector middle chicane as we head towards the hairpin. We now take a look at the two Mercedes who have been driving away from my teammate Sebastian Vettel, guys. I was getting close to the two Mercs, but I could see that my tires were not going to last much longer. And now we watch Hamilton and Vettel dive it into the pit lane. We will see now if our undercut has worked for us as we go side by side with Antonio Giovinazzi. It's a drag race towards the final chicane, but we had DRS and overtake engaged, and that was an easy move. I think that's for P16 if I'm not mistaken. But a lot of drivers are diving it into the pit lane to go onto a second set of soft tires, just like myself, or a set of mediums. And now we head into this first quarter. There's Lewis Hamilton. He comes out alongside Carlos Sainz, but he has to give him back in the position to Carlos due to him being on the outside. So now Hamilton has got Sainz to get past. Then we've got Vettel, well then it's myself, also within the traffic, and then Vettel is definitely behind me, so we kept Sebastian behind us. We are now going for a move on Ricciardo up the inside. A little bit of a bumpy, bargy move there, but a little bit of I want to say desperation, guys, because I saw Hamilton right ahead of me, and I knew this was the ideal opportunity for me to try and get close to the rear end of that Mercedes. We are now stuck behind the second horse of Charles Leclerc. And now we need to try and go for the move up the inside at the hairpin. I give Charles a little bit of a scare there as I'm up the inside very aggressively. No contact made. It's a clean move. I just gave Charles a little bit of a whoopsie. And now we are right behind the Red Bull of Alex Albon as Hamilton is trying to go for the move on Carlos Sainz. Into the final chicane. Here goes Hamilton around the outside. Will Carlos pinch him to the inside of the second part? Yes, he does. And we are right behind Albon. Here we go. It's going to be a drag race. Hamilton got held up by Sainz. Here we go into the first corner. It's 3 wide between myself, Hamilton, and Albon. Here we go into the first corner. I give him the squeeze to the inside. Beautiful move there. And Bottas is coming out of the pit lane. Bottas alongside 3 wide there for two separate occasions. We were 3 wide heading into the first corner and 3 wide exiting the second corner. What a move here. As Hamilton got held up by Sainz, he basically brake checked Albon as well as myself, but I got out of it mostly. And there you guys can see Bottas comes out of the pit lane, and it's just a massive squabble here between basically which should be the 3 fastest cars on the grid. But what a sequence there. And as you guys can see, that has basically given me the lead of the Canadian GP now that I'm ahead of both Mercs. But let's see this again. Here comes Bottas out of the pit lane. He has strapped on a set of medium tires along with his teammate Lewis Hamilton. Vettel also went for the medium tire strategy. I was going bold with the double soft stint. But let's see here. Here's Bottas. There are us fighting up for position. Bottas goes to the outside, and as he goes to the corner, he gets a little bit of a tank slapper, and he has to get off the power, which enables Hamilton to get ahead of Bottas. Bottas was definitely trying the overcuts on myself and Hamilton. But this was an absolutely stupendous sequence of moves. Great racing from all 3 of the drivers. GG's, GR, between myself, Hamilton, Albon, Sainz, and Bottas. But Sainz defended brilliantly through that final chicane because as Hamilton mounted that final part of the curve, the car just got a massive slap of oversteer. And that is why he held up myself and Albon. But guys, I have to say, the upgrades fitted to this Ferrari engine has been a dream. And this car really is a weapon in a straight line. As soon as we get those drag reduction upgrades for the aerodynamics, I think this car is going to be a little bit untouchable in a straight line. We will have the 2019 Ferrari back to its old self. But as you guys can see here, we are now ahead of both the Mercs, chasing after Carlos Sainz. Now, this is not going to be an easy place to stay, guys, because you guys can already see here comes Hamilton. He's very aggressive, trying to get past me because he knows this is for the next race lead. And here we guys can see through the fast chicane, Hamilton just has a much better run through there. And here he comes right up behind me. Hamilton on the outside. Will he get the move done? I defend to the inside. Little bit of a squeeze there, but I'm going to squeeze him to the wall on the exit. Hamilton just seems to have a wash of understeer heading through the hairpin there. He just couldn't get the car turned in. And that opens up the door for myself to go for the move on Carlos Sainz and get a car in between myself and Lewis Hamilton. And that is the perfect end to the pit stop sequences for myself. And now I need to try and build a gap from Hamilton and Bottas. Hopefully Bottas pressurizes his teammates a bit so that he can leave his focus, can keep his focus off of me. We now jump on board with the Renault of the Daniel Ricciardo through this middle sector chicane, and there goes the engine pop as Ricciardo is now trundling towards a stop on the side of the track. Will this bring out a safety car? That is the question, because if it does, it might be, but it's not even yet overcast. The rain, Jeff says the rain is going to come very sudden. But you guys see, it is only a virtual safety car. But this is a part of the race where I felt I absolutely nailed the restart. You guys see here, I'm already flat out at this stage. And I literally had like 0.5 of a second spare before I would have got the penalty for overspeeding under virtual safety car. And we get a massive jump on the 2 Mercedes. And we exit that 1 second DRS gap. And this is now where I have to push on my softer tires. Hamilton is in any case under pressure from Bottas. I'm sure Bottas, being the B player, Mercedes are going to tell him, oh, please leave Hamilton alone, just don't put Lewis under pressure. But we'll see what happens. Vettel is not supporting me whatsoever in this race. He is struggling to keep the racing point of Perez and this whole gaggle of cars behind to keep them away from him. I know the gap is a bit sufficient now, guys, but there was a stage where my engineer told me Vettel was struggling with some engine issues, and this whole group was catching up to Vettel. So hopefully Ferrari can sort out that issue for my teammate before this whole group catches up, because otherwise Vettel is going to be in a world of trouble with all these fast young guys trying to make a move on him. But you guys can see, it's a beautiful top 10 here. I forgot to run through the top 10 now. I was a little bit stupid. But here we have the final remaining Renault going for a move on Pierre Gasly. at on the first back straight. Beautiful move there.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from some rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Sorry, guys, I talked over Jeff there, but basically the rain is going to hit any second. And excuse the sound and the visuals not matching up, guys. I don't know what went wrong with the recording here, but it's not my fault. This is just how the game recorded, so just please bear with that for a minute. But you guys can see the raindrops are starting to fall, and I was at this, I knew it was time to start thinking about the intermediate tires. Through the final chicane, we got a little bit of a tag slapper heading through that final chicane. We will jump on board with us just in just a second. So you guys can see the raindrops on the halo of the car. You guys can see there are a few raindrops on the chassis as well as on the halo. When we jump to the Mercedes, you guys are going to be able to see it better. There we go. Both Mercedes, Bottas still stuck behind Hamilton. The rain has started to fall, and it is here where we're going to have to play it very smart. Guys, by the end of the next lap, the track was so slippery that you guys can't see. I'm struggling to keep the Ferrari in a straight line. And in these conditions, it's been a thing with the F1 games for a while now. In these changeable conditions, the AI are absolutely overpowered. But as soon as I had that tag slapper coming out of the hairpin, I knew pit. It was the smartest thing to do. Into the pit lane for the intermediate tires. Hamilton follows me in. Vettel as well follows me in. So Ferrari are double stacking myself and Vettel, whose issue got sorted, guys. So he was back to full pace. But oh, look at the beautiful trick from Ferrari. They hold up Hamilton. That was an absolutely 200 IQ move there from Ferrari. Double stacking Vettel with myself to hold up Hamilton as we come out of the pit lane. I'm not sure if that's legal. Vettel might receive a penalty for that. But that was absolutely 200 IQ plays from Ferrari. I don't think it was on purpose. I think that was down to pure luck. But now Vettel is going to be closer to Hamilton, as well as Hamilton is going to be farther behind from myself. So now Bottas, who stayed out on the slick tires, has made a mistake, because you guys can see the spray already is so bad, and Vettel is struggling to get the grip down himself as he's trying to overtake the McLaren there. So the grip levels are definitely starting to fall away dramatically, and I think it was a big mistake from this man, the second flying fin, Valtteri Bottas, to stay out on the slick tires. You can see he cannot even get the car turned in at the hairpin, at the hairpin, and he is really struggling for grip. And you guys see, I'm not even far behind anymore. I caught up so much on this lap that I think you guys could see the top end of my car in the background. But Mercedes has made a massive mistake. They should have double stacked the two Mercs. You guys see Bottas, I'm so close, guys. Bottas into the pit lane. We're going to go slowly and carefully through the final chicane because the conditions are very treacherous. And now we are going to try and push to the end of the Grand Prix. But guys, another bombshell. It was going to dry up before the end of this race. I don't know why, but the rain is going to go away, and literally in like the final 8 to 5 laps. Then the rain is going to go away again, and we might have to go back to slick conditions. But you guys can see it's very slippery out on track, and for some other reason, guys, I don't know why, as I scraped the wall there of the first chicane, and luckily I have no damage on my car. We jump a few laps later where Hamilton is coming in for a second pit stop, and guys, this is what I mean. The grip levels were non-existent. Usually you know the grip levels with the intermediate conditions, plus minus, but if you really like, sometimes the weather just completely throws a spanner in the works. And I have to be honest, guys, the weather really was horrendous, and the grip levels were so little. I was oversteering almost out of every corner, and you guys can see only myself and Bottas have stayed out. We have not pitched for a second set of intermediates because at this stage Jeff was saying to me that the weather might dry up. Listen.
This light rain is going to be with us for a while now. This rain should be ending shortly. The dry line will come in quickly, so don't waste any time getting back up to speed. Inters seem like the fastest tyre for now.
Excuse Jeff there for a second, guys. He had a little bit of a glitch there with Jeff's radio, but
this rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future. We think this rain should stop sometime in the next few laps, so watch those lap times. We may have to pit for dries at very short notice. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
Jeff is still glitching, guys, but you guys focus on the second part of his radio message. The weather is starting to clear up, and you guys see as we end lap 28, the rain has stopped, but the track is still very, very wet. So it was definitely not time to come in for the intermediates just yet. Just Jeff gonna say something? Okay, no, nothing. Into the first corner, you guys see I'm very careful on my turn and everything. It is the conditions are just so treacherous. I was running away from Bottas. These conditions suited me, even though I was struggling. It seemed like everybody was struggling a lot, and I was the one getting a hold of the conditions the best. But you guys see lap 29, and there's 6 laps to go. This one included. And at the end of lap 29, some of the back markers started pitting for slick tires. I honestly didn't feel there was time, guys, because there was still a significant amount of spray on the track. Well, off the racing line. On the racing line, it was quite dry. But you guys see, I'm staying out. This is now lap 30, and I'm staying out. But here comes Bottas. And guys, this is where I made probably my biggest mistake of the season thus far. My choice at this stage was to try and stay out on the intermediate sides because the track was still immensely slippy. And I have made the mistake to stay out. I should have pit this lap, but I didn't. Even Vettel is pitting, both the Mercs are pitting, everybody is coming into the pit lane. And at the end of lap 30, you guys can see my tires are dead, the rears are like 60, 69%, something like that.
See you at the end of this lap.
We do say box this lap, yes, you guys saw right. But at this stage, I was busy, I was doubting myself. And as you guys see, I brake and I take the final chicane to start another lap. This was a massive mistake.
Understood, stopping this lap.
And then I made the choice to stop at the end of lap 31. But guys, once again, lap 31 where the Mercs pitted, and yet I still decided, hey, I've got a 25-second gap. Let's just stay out one more lap. And this is where I threw the race away. Bottas was literally catching me a second a corner. At the end of lap 32, you guys see it went down from 25 seconds to less than, well, now it's less than 10 seconds. And this is where I knew I absolutely threw away this race. I was leading in a dominant position, and I made the mistake to not pit when it was needed. Onto a set of soft tires, but it is done. It is done. There's nothing I can do. I've lost the lead to Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton, as you guys can see on the minimap, he's going through the final chicane now, so I will be ahead of Hamilton.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tires.
Thank you, Jeff. But guys, at this stage, I knew. I threw away the race, and I was furious at myself. I threw away a race where I drove stupendously. And look, guys, even on the final bloody lap, it started raining again. What is life? What is life in this game? Oh, no. Look, guys, even if you guys could have said, why didn't you just stay out on the inters? Bottas was literally catching me a second a corner. And I knew that those intermediates would just puncture before the end of the race because the track was drying out. But as we ended the penultimate lap and started the final lap, it started raining again. I threw away this race because I got cocky. Because I thought, nah, I can stay out. I'm in a good position. I threw this race away due to being a cocky little bugger. And you know what? I am furious at myself. You guys see a brilliant battle here between, is it Gasly or is it Kvyat? I'm not sure, but it's between Verstappen and one of the AlphaTauris. I think this is Gasly, if I'm not mistaken. Into the first chicane, Verstappen on the inside, Gasly on the outside, but Verstappen has a beautiful run around the outside. But guys, you guys can see, I'm absolutely gutted. I made the stupidest decisions, and I have thrown away a race win. Bottas has got to take the win after everything looked in doubt for him. And we are going to come home in P2, but this should have been a win, and I am absolutely kicking myself.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
A truly magnificent drive then, and a great performance from the entire team to secure victory here in Canada. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Parker increases their championship lead. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Carlos Sainz certainly wasn't someone to scoff about. His ability to follow race strategies throughout with pinpoint precision has to be commended.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. No change in the top spot, but with today's points, their hold on the lead is getting weaker. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us.
I can't believe I threw away a race win. What was I thinking? Even lap 31 already was a push to stay out for another lap onto lap 32. My brain must have died for a few seconds. Guys, I threw this away and I know you guys are going to be in the comments like, yep, you messed up. I know I messed up. What was that race, Turbo? I can't. That was utter stupidity. That was stupid. The track was dry. And I decided, no, there's still a few damn patches. Let's just go one more lap. And then after the one more lap, let's just go one more lap. Let's go one more lap. Look, guys, I didn't lose too much ground in the championship. I still came home P2. Bottas has now taken P2 in the championship from Hamilton. And yes, I am still 68 points ahead, I get that. But mistakes like that, if the season goes on and I make stupid mistakes like this, it can really bite me in the rear. I can't afford mistakes like this. From now on, I've got a good lead, but from here on out, I need to be captain consistency. Top 5s consistently the whole time. And a mistake like that, look, I was lucky to come home P2. That could have turned out a lot worse. I could have spun, hit the wall, something could have gone wrong for me, and that was really not a smart thing to do. So yeah, for those of you guys that wanted to see me take another win, I do apologize for that, but also you can't win everything. But that was, I had the win. I had one hand on the trophy. I had one hand on the Canadian Grand Prix trophy, and I literally let the trophy fall in the final 5 laps. That is stupid. That is pathetic. But it's okay. Guys, even though this race didn't end as high as we would have liked it to end, it's still P2. I can't be too salty about that. But it's just that thing of, I know what I could have done and I messed up. I know how this race could have turned out and I threw it away. But still, long season to go. Hopefully we can redeem ourselves later on in the season. But guys, that has been this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Guys, please, if you haven't done it yet, drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds and it helps me out a lot. Let's see if we can get this video to 8 likes. 8 likes and I would absolutely adore that. Guys, please go check out the links in the description down below. Second YouTube channel, social medias, all those fancy things. Give me a follow, give me a like, and I'll follow you back. Share this video with your friends, tag me in the post or the story, and I will give you a shout out on my personal social media as well as here on YouTube. And guys, finally, if this is your first time feasting your eyes on Turbo Fox Racers and you're thinking about tapping that subscribe button, don't hesitate anymore. Hit that subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future episode here on YouTube. You are welcome to the Turbo Fox Racers family, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy your stay here with us. Guys, fantastic race, a few fantastic moves, stupid decisions from myself, but it all's well that ends well. Guys, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, thank you so much for staying to the end. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the support. I love you guys, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers!